Hello students. Yes, in this video we will look into root parameters more in detail. As a part of root paths, we have seen how parameters can be used with patterns. In this video, we will discuss more in detail about root parameters. So as the description goes on, root parameters in Express.js allows you to capture values specified at a particular position in the URL. So basically they are used to identify a resource within the API. And the syntax, the root parameters are defined using a colon followed by the parameter name. So this is an example. As you can see here, the root parameter is user ID colon and req.params is an object containing the values of the named parameters. So how can we access them? By using req.params.userid. Then the next kind is multiple route parameters. Multiple route parameters have multiple parameters. The fun part is they can be used in a single route. So here you can see colon user ID slash book colon book ID. So we have two parameters, that is colon user ID and colon book ID. And again we are using req.params. Then the interesting kind is the nested routes and route parameters. Nested routes, they express the Express.js allows you to create nested routes and route parameters can be used within these routes. We'll see that using an example. So this is an example that I have. So here if you observe carefully, we have a parameter colon user ID and we have another parameter colon book ID. Now how are they nested? You can see here user router. User router handles nested routes for sorry the user router handles nested routes for slash user. This is the main route path, that is forward slash user. Under this, user router handles both user ID and the book ID. What are the route parameters here? User ID and book ID are used within user router. So why do we need these many kind of route parameters? Apart from these, we have dynamic route parameters that can be combined with regex, that is regular expressions and named parameters. And also we have optional parameters. And we also have handling route parameters in middleware. We can also use middleware to handle route parameters before passing control to the next route handler. Okay, we have seen this in the earlier videos where we have given the introduction to middleware. Then So what are the best practices for using route parameters? Why do we need route parameters? The first thing is consistency. So if you observe here, we have used a consistent naming conventions for parameters, the user ID and book ID. Then validation. Validate and sanitize parameter values to prevent security issues. Documentation. Clearly document the expected route parameters for each route. And error handling. Implement error handling for invalid or missing parameters. So these are the best practices for using route parameters to get the most of out of it. So this is about the route parameters. So the whole unit basically revolved around the route paths, route parameters, and what are the different patterns that can the route paths determine. And finally, we have ended with route parameters. In the next video, we will see how we can use single function route handlers, and later we will see how an array of functions can be used, and later part we will see how we can combine both function and array of function route handlers. Okay, so see you in the next video. Please practice on this part. Thank you.